Nice. Can you see my screen? So the agenda for today, we have approximately 25 more minutes. First of all, why do we have this session really quickly? Then we will dive into the mail merge process and also compare it a bit with the SalesLoft process, and then dive almost directly into the demo because that's where the magic happens. And we're not going to end with a Q&A. I would like you to just stop me at any time and shoot questions because I think that's better to discuss specific things when I'm doing the demo, because I will run through how I do it and also send an email to some poor prospects. But yeah, first of all, why this session? Well, honestly, this is a really good way to just send out emails in a very convenient way. The rule that I have now when I work with prospecting is that as soon as I'm going to send out one email to more than 3 stakeholders or people or whatever, I can use mail merge because it's just so convenient when you have it set up for yourself. And we also don't want to end up as the guy on the right-hand side here, the meme. Why spend more time doing emails than we need, really? So that's why we are here. And I don't think us interns have access to SalesLoft yet either. So this is basically the only way to scale outreaching at all. But what is it? And what is the process? First, we start with the contact scraping. I do that by using Sales Navigator and then Scrap.io. And I'm going to ask you, because we can tailor the content for the demo a bit. Have you all done scraped contacts before with Sales Navigator and Scrap.io? Or are you just receiving your lists from your FSRs? You've done it, Takwa?
I did, yes. I made the whole list for myself.
Okay. Did anyone not do it?
Not yet for me because I haven't really started anything with my account.
Okay. Yeah, we can. I can provide you with a link on a tutorial that Henry did that I think is really good.
Thank you.
Because if everyone else did it, we can just skip that step. And the second step is to, of course, save the contacts. In my case, I call this the cadence tracker. And this is where you align with your FSR. Okay, whom are you supposed to contact? I do the segmentation. I categorize them based on the titles and the functional areas that they are in, because you want to tailor your messaging in a way. So it's a good way to structure your stakeholders for your accounts. And we're going to start there. I'm going to show you my cadence tracker in a second. Then you need to export the contacts to Vector, because what you really do with mail merge is that you use a program to send out multiple emails at the same time. And for logging, you need to add a BCC link that is provided by Salesforce Vector. And the email address for the contact in Vector needs to be the exact same as the email address you're sending it out to, but because that's how the logging is automated. So that's really, really important. Yes.
What is the BCC I don't know, you mentioned now? Because my manager mentioned it as well, and I don't know.
I will quickly show it during the demo. So it's how it's automatically done. Agnes?
So basically, if I use main merge, it's going to update my vector automatically once the email has been sent and everything.
No, this is the step before. You need to update the list manually before you start with the mail merge.
Okay.
Because that's how the logging is done. But it's the same for SalesLoft, because if you were using SalesLoft, you update the list in Vector, and then you export that to SalesLoft. So it's connected to the same email addresses.
And then I think if you use gset, you can at least automate like some of the logging afterwards in Vector. But this is not,
Yes.
so this is not automated in any way. You have to do the manual logging in Vector after you've sent out.
No, that's
Yeah.
the BCC thing we're gonna get into.
Okay, nice, nice.
But in
Super.
order for the BCC thing to work, you need to update the email addresses correctly.
Okay.
Jed?
Yeah, about the exporting contacts to Vector. So is that after you've done all the scraping from all your discovery org cells, now Scrap.io, and you've got it all in one stakeholder map, then is this importing it back into Vector Salesforce?
Yeah, so exporting from my cadence tracker to Vector, so yeah, importing it.
Okay.
In that sense, yeah.
Cool.
Sure. I'm gonna quickly show you how to do it because I actually need to update the contact that I'm gonna do outreaching to for the demo. So I will quickly show you how I update my contact lists in Vector. But yeah, then we do the mail merge. You need to, the format for the email needs to be in HTML, but there are really easy templates for this. So when you have your one email template, you can just reuse it and change the text. And then, of course, after you're done with the mail merge and all the emails have been sent, you should update your cadence tracker. And that's for analytical purposes. And when someone answers, of course, that's another process to do the connect logging and so on. But we will stick to this area for the demo today. We will start with the cadence tracker. I will quickly show you how I update the lists in Vector, and then we will do the outreaching. So let me go to my cadence tracker. So these are all my stakeholders for my accounts, like 400 something, 400 almost. And what I did here first, of course, for today, I want to do outreaching to someone that I haven't contacted already. And I'm gonna just sort something out. FSRs, that's the contacts that my FSR wants to keep in touch with that I'm not allowed to touch. And the ABM are contacts that the account-based marketing firm is working on. So BDR, that's my responsibility. And then I want to do it in Swedish. Sorry for that, but my prepared template is in Swedish for now. And I want to find someone I didn't do outreaching to. So please feel free to jump in with questions whilst I select some interesting people here.
Quick question on how you are managing that with your FSR. So
yeah.
Are you sharing this whole cadence tracker with your FSR and then asking him or her to mark which one he wants to have?
We went through all the names during a 30-minute session, but it was more the other way around. He said, okay, he had like 10 names in mind that he don't want me to outreach to. And then we went over the titles and he said, fair enough, go ahead, basically. So that was my case. So it was very convenient because he knew whom he didn't want me to contact. And I think most of the FSR does, so yeah.
Okay, cool.
But okay, so for this outreaching, I want to, let's try Linus Lindström here. Sorry for the pronunciation of the name. No, let's not try that one because that's for the Landsys Hacking account. I also want to sort that out. Sorry, 3 contacts, perfect. Let's do the executive assistance here within sustainability. And then I will copy everything here because now we need to update the lists. Let's say I'm doing outreaching to all of them. I'm not going to do that for the demo, but then we need to update the lists with all of the names. Then I copy that and I go to another template, which is basically an empty sheet because we need to download the CSV file. and then map it in vector when we're updating the list. So here is everything, and you can, like, we're not going to use this for vector, but we can just keep it there because it doesn't really matter. And then we download it as a CSV. Go/vector. And Salesforce, they have a really convenient function for importing. And you can find that by going to your contacts in the menu here, and then contacts, and then import here. It will bring you to a new tab, and it's very straightforward. Accounts and contacts. I want to add new and update. I think that's best, because if there are duplicates, they will update and use the latest email address, which is nice because sometimes you might have the wrong email address to a stakeholder. You do an outreach, you change the email and update the list and try again. So you always have the latest by using that one. Then you upload the file, press next. You don't have to change anything else. And then this part is very important, and that is to map the columns to the correct variable or information in vector. So account name would be account name, of course. I can actually see that I did an error here. So I'm gonna fix that, and that is to change the account name. So this is the list that I copy pasted. The account name needs to be the exact same as it is in vector. So in my case, it's Swedbank AB. So that is very important. And then you use it because that's how it's mapped correctly. So let's do that again really quick. It's good that we emphasize that thing, because I actually made a mistake last time to just upload it, and then every single contact that I did for that import was unmapped, so I had to map it manually afterwards. It was quite annoying, but so don't do the same mistake as I was about to do here. But okay, next. And now we can see this account name was automatically added. And if there are important things that you need to map, because sometimes they are not mapped automatically, as this one unmapped, then you just map it and you find whatever suits that variable, basically. But the only important things here are the account name, the first, the last name, the title, and the email address. That's like what you actually need to update. And because that's what makes the mapping. I don't think you need a title. I was just told it was important. I think that's for other people working with account. But the email address is what's really important here. To have the latest, because then it's gonna automatically log for you when you do the outreaching. And then you press next, and then you press update, and it's gonna take a minute and then update the contacts in vector. So let's say we have done that. Now we're going to do the outreaching. Then to the mail merge template. Some of you probably have mail merge templates that looks similar but a bit different. This is the one I'm using. So first of all, we have selected 3 contacts. So then we're going to add the email addresses here, just in a list. And then I'm also going to add their first name, because that's how we greet in Sweden. We say hello and then the first name. For other countries, it might be a greeting. So hello, Mr. and last name, and so on. I know that's how they do it in Germany, for instance.
And you always do it manually, this part.
So how I did it now was to just, I have selected like the people I want to do outreaching to. Then I copy all of them like that. And then
Yeah,
I
so you just do it
paste them
manually
here.
and paste
Yeah.
it. Yeah, okay.
Yes. And you have extra things here if you want to use it for the HTML. What you need to do here is to put the BCC link to your Salesforce logging. Do you know how to get the link?
No.
I will show you really quickly. You get a link in your settings in Vector. I think it's my profile settings, and then under something with email, my email to Salesforce. And then it's this link. And if you add that as BCC and the email address is correctly mapped to a contact in Vector, every single time you send that email, it's going to be automatically logged, which is very convenient. So make sure to add it for every single outreach you do here. And for content.
And sorry, it was email to Salesforce, right? It's that long email Salesforce address. Or
Yes, correct.
Yeah, okay.
This one.
Thanks.
And you can also use this address if you're doing, let's say you do one outreach, that's like a really tailored email. You don't use SalesLoft or anything. You can just add this manually in your email. So BCC, that works also if you want to do the logging part a bit more convenient. But yeah, so I've selected my targeted people. This is nothing. And for now, I'm just going to send a very general email because I want to know when they're back from their vacation, because I know that they are on vacation right now. So hopefully I get an automatic reply. So my email is here, and this is HTML code. There are a few instructions here, but there are also various instructions if you just Google it. Mine looks a bit more complicated. It's because I have added a video in here. This is a video outreaching. That's why it's more code than necessary. I'm going to show you how it looks in a second, but this part is really easy, and feel free to ping me if you want a template or something. And I'm using the same subject for all of them. So then I can type subject here instead of using like the variables that we can use here. I only use the variable for their first name in this case, which is hey, hello, and then add the name. So we're done with that. Before I'm sending it out to my actual prospects, I want to check it out myself. So then I send it to myself here, put in Y, and then press up here, emailer, and then send. And we can go to my inbox, and then we have it here. Subject, hello from Google, my name is Max, and then my video with the links. Okay, looks good. Perfect. And then I know that I can do the outreaching. And you do it like this. And then just double checking the names one more time. Perfect, and then press send. Takes a bit longer because it's 3 people now, and there we go. And you will get an automated email address from Salesforce saying that they have been successfully logged. So that's good. You don't have to really have a look at this because it's more convenient to just check it out in Vector. Okay, perfect. So that's some information from one of them. Then in this case, I at least know the email is correct, but he's out of office. Yeah, that's the process. Questions, Agnes?
Thank you so much. I think this was super helpful. I think I have 2 questions. The first is like, how is this different from SalesLoft?
Mm-hmm.
And like how would you combine SalesLoft and MailMerge?
So how is it different? Here you have to do, you can't really automatically set up the entire cadence, because I know in SalesLoft you can like automatically send out emails at a certain time and so on. You actually have to press send here. So that's a difference. And you build your cadence yourself pretty much. And I know for analytics in SalesLoft you can also see like the
open
rate, and so on. So
but then why is somebody like Henry using MailMerge instead of SalesLoft, or using both? I mean, I didn't really understand this part.
Yeah, the benefit is really to reach a lot of stakeholders fast, because it's easier. It's like one less step of importing contacts and syncing them between SalesLoft and Vector. So this is just a convenient way to, okay, I have an email template that's very generalized. I will send it to 200 people and see if someone catches the hook. I would use both. I would want to use SalesLoft for more important stakeholders where you really want this benefit of the analytic part. But I would be fine with using MailMerge for mid-level managers or anything where you just want to introduce yourself. Or in my case, I want to know when they're coming back from vacation. So I will just send out to the mid-level managers.
Nice. And my second part, and this is a rather important one. So were we kind of guessing that the email wouldn't bounce now? Or were we actually checking that the email address works? But you can't really do that with MailMerge, right?
So that's like the next step. In my cadence tracker, I can show you really quick. Because in my case here, like 1 out of the 3 emails, it automatically bounced. They were out of vacation, so they had an automatic reply. And for the other 2, I didn't receive an email that said that their email address was wrong, so I assumed it went through. And I take note of that in the tracker, really. So what template did I use for the first one? In this case, it was the Swedish intro, this one. And then the date was today, because I need to track it in order to know when I'm going to do outreaching next time. And I also had information from Fredrik Nilsson that he is out of office. So then I press this, and he's out of office until the 9th. So this is,
I think, something really important here. And I think if all of us are using like more contacts, let's say 100, there are online tools to help you check that list before you send out, because if you hit over like a 4% bounce, you're going to get punished by the security algorithms, and actually you can get locked out from emailing any of the accounts in these companies. And if it's like one of your main accounts, it's a problem, right? And I think this even happened to Eric. So I think it's super important if you have a lot more. So basically, you want to check, there's online tools. I don't have their names in my head, but you can just Google like check bounce rate or something, because if you hit over 4% bounce rate, around that number roughly, Google algorithms and email algorithms are going to block your address. So it's super important to check that you don't have a super high bounce rate before you send out emails. I would actually recommend that. Even like if you're sending out more than 100 emails, you should definitely check the bounce rate before and sort out the email addresses. So if somebody quit, they quit their job, they're not in that position anymore. Like, I think it's really important to check this, because it has happened that people simply cannot email anybody at that company anymore, and then it's going to be a problem. So I just wanted to raise that.
That's 100, for example, per week or per month or per day? The real question.
That's really difficult to answer, because like it's up to the Google security algorithms, right? And other email algorithms. But I would say always check your email when you're doing this massive send-outs emails. Always check for bounce rates, and keep it like filter out all the email addresses that bounces before you send anything out. Really, I mean, this was 3, so it's completely fine if some of them bounces. But I would just.
All right. Thank you.
My experience, at least.
I'm gonna share the templates I'm using and all that, so you can make a copy if you want to. But I know that we have more questions. Adina, Takwa, I have a few more minutes if you want to run through them.
Thank you so much for the session. It's really helpful. I got some really good tips. If you were going to send out just a couple of emails that are quite tailored, would you send it directly from Gmail and then add the vector link into your BCC? Does it track the same way?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. I would do that manually then, as long as there are less than 3 people or 3 recipients. I would do it manually and just add the BCC link. It tracks the same way. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
In our case, I would want to use Salesloft, but for us interns, unfortunately, we don't have access. And I was told we are to assume that we're not getting access. So this is just how it is. Tekla, you raised your hand before. Did we answer your question?
Another one.
Okay,
so basically, for each, for example, there are the follow-ups. So there's the first email, and then there are the follow-ups. So for each follow-up, I need to do the steps all over again, or this also automates the follow-ups.
You have to do it automatically because manually, because you have to press send and you have to create the email when you're sending it and so on. So it's not as convenient as Salesloft in this regard. But if you're tracking it really good in your tricks in the cadence tracker, it's quite convenient still. I think I have different batches between different dates. It's checking it automatically and highlighting the entire stakeholder when I'm supposed to send it out. So you can play with that in my cadence tracker if you want to. But yeah.
All right. Thank you.
I'm gonna stop the recording